Hey, I'm Rodo, software engineer here at strongDM. I'll demo today log export container. So log export container is a container you can use for concentrating all your logs and send them to multiple outputs, logging services. So as you can see in here, you can send your logs to S3, CloudWatch, Splunk, many different places at the same time. Besides enabling strongDM to send the logs to these different multiple like logging services, you can also process the output. You can export audit activities. You can decode the SSH sessions content or Kubernetes sessions, and also like send that information to your logging services. I have prepared a demo using a simple Docker Compose file. So I'm starting a Mongo database, and in the same machine, I'm starting a log export container pointing to the public ECR in AWS. And then as you can see here, we have as an input a syslog JSON and then multiple outputs. In this case, standard output and Mongo. This is a Mongo URI. And then we are like decoding the chunk events. This is going to enable you to search and scrap through the SSH and Kubernetes sessions. And then we're also extracting the audit activities, and the interval in this case is gonna, like this data is gonna be extracted every minute. And here's a demo token I'm using right now. The only privileges or permissions this token needs to have is it needs to be able to read audit activities. That's it. And then you go to your log encryption storage and you configure a gateway. You configure your gateways to send the logs via syslog. In this case, I'm deploying on the same machine and using JSON. Some customers want to use leg behind a network load balancer, for example, in AWS, and have like real machines running this. Other customers, for example, if you're using Kubernetes, they prefer to deploy log export container as a sidecar to each relay or gateway. And in that case, the configuration would be something similar to this. So I'm just going to click update, save. My gateway should be restarted after that. I'll try to log in into one of my configured SSH servers. This is the port. And if I start the session, here it is. I'm just going to type in some commands like pwd, or I'm going to even like show the content of this file, right? And I'm going to exit. Besides this, I am going to execute a command. Let me give permissions to this database, 15432, so 15432. And then I'm going to execute this command, select, for example, A. And that's it, right? So I have like entered into an SSH server, had a session, and then executed a SQL query. If I go to this screen, this is just a standard output. So as you can see, there's plenty of information there, not that easy to trace because it's just a standard output. You can see some activities because we're exporting them. You can see some like chunk data. This is the SSH session. And somewhere at the end, there must be something occurring with the Docker Postgres and a query, right? But we're also exporting this data into Mongo's. So I'll enter into the Mongo database and show you what is in there. If I show all the collections inside the database, there is a collection named SDM logs. If I show you the information in there, it's just a bunch of SDM logs, right? Resources logs and activity logs. You can always filter using Mongo queries like type activity. So this is going to only show the activity logs. You can do the same thing for like chunks or any other type of resource. You can also execute some fancy queries, like for example, this one, which allow you to go into the decoded chunk events and search for a specific word. In this case, I'm searching for this like regular expression containing the word pwd, which is one of the commands I entered in the SSH session. And if I execute this, then as you can see, it is returning me like the full line containing the word. And here specifically, is the specific, like the word I'm looking for, right? So using the chunk events, decoding the chunk events and exporting that into a Mongo database, for example, then you can parse all the different SSH sessions and look for anomalies. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any question, please leave it in the comments.